As a girl growing up, one of your best friends should be your mom. You're supposed to feel close to her and be able to tell her all of your wishes and secrets. Imagine growing up without that important person in your life. Now, imagine growing up with that person in your life, or her choosing to not be around you. When I was young, things were great. My mom was always around and was constantly involved in my home and school life. She was the best mom that I could have ever asked for. But suddenly, the mom I had grown up loving changed. My parents split up when I was 8, and my mom, brother, and I moved in with my grandparents. This was when my mom started changing. It was little things at first, like not doing the dishes or the laundry, but after time, bigger things began to change. She spent all of her day in her room, isolated away from my brother and me. At first, I thought that she was just sad, and that she would soon get past it and go back to normal, but I was wrong. When my parents did get back together, things were good, but slowly and surely, she began to retreat back to her room and her old ways. A few years later, my grandma was diagnosed with cancer. My mom dropped her family to take care of her mom full-time. It was understandable, but there was even less time for me now. Imagine seeing your mom who lives in the same house as you for maybe 5 minutes a day. Still, my brother, father, and I clung to the sheer hope that once my grandma got better, we would get our mom back. When my grandma took a turn for the worse, my mom turned to alcohol for comfort instead of her family. With that came a monster who abused me physically and emotionally, a monster who underneath it all was still my mom. Even after all the pain she put me through, I could never find the strength to fight back. Instead, I turned into a different person myself. I began picking fights with my friends any chance I got. I tried getting all of my anger out on them just so that I could feel better. I turned into a monster, no matter how much I tried fighting it. When my grandma was told that she had beaten the cancer, my mom decided to beat the alcohol. The monster she had become slowly transformed into the mother I could barely remember. Once again, things were nice. Sometime after that, my grandma passed away. Once again, when faced with a difficult situation, my mom didn't think her family was enough support, so instead she turned to prescription pills to help with the pain. She turned into a completely different person. She never came around, and when she did, she was always mad. She locked herself in her room, away from her family completely. The 5 minutes a day I had grown to cherish were taken away. All I kept thinking was that our family wasn't good enough for her. I completely lost faith in her and in myself. I stopped going to school. After all, I didn't have a mom to make me go. I felt like I didn't have a mom at all. Instead, all I had was a woman I barely knew. I believe that people change. Sometimes they change for the better, and sometimes they change for the worse. Everyone goes through phases, and everyone grows. That person you are right now might be completely different than the person you will be in a few years. Sometimes you change because you feel like you need to, and sometimes you change without even knowing it. Either way, you change and become a different person. You will keep some of your old characteristics while developing new ones. What you grow up believing, you might completely disagree with when you're older. The bottom line is that everyone changes, whether they realize it or not. My mother finally changed from the woman I barely knew into the mother I love today. She now loves spending time with her family and has been clean for 2 years and counting. She no longer locks herself in her room, and the 5 minutes a day I was once lucky to have has turned into 24/7. The woman I felt like I couldn't talk to, I now find chatting with all the time. The woman I thought I hated at one point in my life is now the mother I love and cherish today. If my mom changed,